Asteroid City.
I've always found Wes Anderson to be one of the more unique voices when it comes to this generation of filmmaking, utilizing distinct color choices and set pieces, with backgrounds packed with meticulous details that if you blink, you miss. Loaded with a stellar cast that plays eccentric characters, and stories so absurd or meta. Just seeing one frame, you can instantly tell it's a Wes Anderson product. Anderson is back with another feature film, and it is probably his best looking film to date, but also one of his most convoluted feature films so far. So much happens in this film that at times I stop to wonder, is it really all that necessary? Well, I can say one thing for sure. I love how unapologetic Anderson is, and this is probably the most Wes Anderson film I've ever seen from him. Did I like it? I most definitely did. Welcome back to Filmwego. This week, let's travel to a fictional little town in the middle of the scorching desert, Asteroid City. So get your tickets ready as we're about to take off. Let's first start the plot. Well, the main plot first. The film follows a junior stargazer team who ventures into the middle of the boiling desert city with a population less than 100. Nothing happens in this town. There's a restaurant, a gas station, an empty motel used to fill the annual stargazer guests, an unfinished highway that leads to nowhere, and sometimes a police car chase through the middle of the desert. Oh, and dancing chickens. In the middle of the center sits a crater. That is where the annual convention is held, and the junior stargazers get to present their new scientific inventions. That is the main plot. There are also copious amount of side stories, like a meta tale, where Asteroid City is actually a play written by Edward Norton. So a story within a story. Both stories take place simultaneously, as Bryan Cranston narrates a story and explains the setting. Then there's this other storyline played by Tom Hanks about a granddaughter's mother's burial, which is a story I find unnecessary and adds nothing. Oh, there's also an act about an alien shooter, and more.
I don't like the way that guy looked at us. The alien.
How did he look?
Like we're doomed.
Maybe we are.
As you can see, this film is jam-packed. So much happens in this film one can easily get lost in the story. It doesn't help that every scene is packed with so many details. I won't be surprised that the audience get fatigued and irritated as they try to follow along and piece everything together. Is all of this story necessary? Maybe not. At this point, it feels like Wes Anderson did all the above just because he knows his diehard fans will visit his film no matter what. A new audience who knows nothing about him will be intrigued just by looking at the trailer and seeing its massive talented cast. However, even with a busily crammed film, I still thoroughly enjoyed it and can't wait to revisit this film in the near future. Okay, let's talk about the cast. I think this film has the biggest cast from it yet. The film is packed with talented A-listers such as Tom Hanks, Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, and the list goes on and on. In fact, the cast is so immense, each member probably only gets to shine for 15 minutes max. Now you can see why I said this film is too convoluted. Too much happens. Although everyone did great, no one really gets to shine in this film or express their talent, as they barely had enough screen time. We don't really get to know them enough, even though Anderson tries to add a little backstory to his characters, like Jason Schwartzman going through grief after losing his wife, or Scarlett Johansson wanting to find her next big role. Those backstories never stick around, as you're constantly distracted by another storyline. By the end of the film, near the end credit, actors are still showing up. In fact, the cast is so huge that it could probably be separated into 3 Anderson films, and each film would still be packed with A-listers. Story-wise and talent-wise, I find this to be the weakest among this project, as too much happens during such a short runtime, and the actors never really get to shine with the material they're given. The film would have worked better if it had focused on 1 or 2 stories instead. I also did find the transition a little jarring and slightly distracting when the film tries to cut from the play scene, which is done in black and white, as Bryan Cranston narrates and we watch Edward Norton assemble the script to the actual story in Asteroid City. Both look gorgeously composed, but when placed together, it makes the film slightly overwhelming. Although the film feels overjammed at times, if you remove the labyrinth-like plot, this is probably my favorite Wes Anderson film to look at.
I strongly question whether your daughter's silly putty resembles anything from outer space.
Every shot is perfection. The amount of details of every set piece, the color choice, the hue, it all works in favor of Wes Anderson's style and perfectly adds to the desert-like environment. I don't think it can get any better than this. The production design, the editing, the cinematography, the costume design, everything is top-notch and is promised to engage you. Even if you find the plot to be too much, you just can't look away. The moment the film starts, your eyes are invited into the colorful spectacle where every shot packs numerous amount of details for you to unfold, and some might even deliver a few laughs, from hilarious signs that pack Easter eggs to Men in Black that pops out in random corners during the film. You're either going to be exhausted halfway through the film, or you're going to find a delight as you try your best to pick out every detail. Overall, this is not my favorite Wes Anderson film. I like most of his previous films better, even The French Dispatch. If you think The French Dispatch is messy, well, this one's even more so. Unfortunately, Asteroid City doesn't feel quite character driven and as structured as his previous work like Grand Budapest or Moonrise Kingdom, but nonetheless, this film is probably the most stunning to look at. at least for me. Yes, the film did feel overcompacted and felt like Wes Anderson had too much to say, but nevertheless, I was engaged throughout the whole film. This film is a great example of how a rewatch is necessary and might make the film even better, as there's so much to unpack. Asteroid City, I had a great time, and all I can say is, Wes Anderson is back with his eccentric characters, and I had a blast watching. Have you seen Asteroid City? Do you plan to see it? If you did, what did you think of it? Comment below and let me know, and as always, subscribe for your next travel ticket.